the spotlight panel for Scooby-Doo Transformers featuring the incomparable Peter, Cullen, and Frank Welker. My name's Andy Farnsworth. I'm with KSL TV, KSL News Radio, and KSL's Fan Effect Podcast, and I am honored to be the one to moderate the panel, but I'm going to be honest, I'm going to try to stay out of the way as much as possible and let these two guys who are masters of their craft do their thing. So let's not waste any more time on this panel. Let's get Frank and Peter out here with a huge round of applause. For each voice, including hello. Well, they got your name here, Peter, and they got your name there, Frank. So you guys can move your, however you want to do it. We just want to stay in the same shot for the camera. Oh. I know you guys don't usually have to worry about the camera placement. You guys have where the microphone is. Here, I'll scoot down.
You're much too close.
Well, I'm sure that the people here are just as excited as I am to meet both of you. You guys are the soundtrack. Who's been here? They're the soundtrack to your childhood. As I've done more research, I didn't quite realize just how many voices each of you did. Of course, we know Optimus Prime and Megatron. But these are some of the roles that Peter has played that maybe you knew, maybe you were more surprised. King Alfor Koran and the narrator in Voltron. Lion, the best one. Eeyore in Disney. Who's a Knight Rider fan? I don't know how we don't have a panel with Kit and Carr, because we got Carr right here and Kit with William Daniels. All right, let's see. Who watches Dungeons and Dragons, the cartoon? Love that one. Venger with the one horn. I bet you don't remember that one. Love that one. And this may surprise you. Who was the first person that voiced Mario from Nintendo in the Western Hemisphere? That would be Mr. Peter Cullen. Saturday Supercade. Anybody remember Saturday Supercade? Frank was also on Saturday Supercade. That would be the voice of Donkey Kong Jr. So I did my deep research for this. Now, speaking of Kong, Peter was the voice of King Kong in the 1976 movie featuring Jessica Lange and Jeff Bridges. It's a small entertainment world. And he was the voice of Predator in the 1987 Predator film with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Here's something I didn't know, Peter. You were also the announcer for the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. That's a mystery. Oh, well, then I guess I was wrong.
It was the Sonny and Cher show.
Well, you did that. I saw that one too, but I didn't know that you,
I was the little man in the ball. Welcome to Little John. It's a Sonny and Cher show. Ladies and gentlemen, Sonny and Cher.
I already messed it up. I'll do better. Can we cut that, please? Isn't that nice to do in voice? When you're voicing something, you can. Let's try that again. All right, Frank. There's no way that I can list off the nearly 900 voice credits that you have.
Before you go on, and I thank you for that, but I gotta tell you, all of those voices that you listed for Peter, I auditioned for and got.
So Peter's the reason you don't have 1,000 voice tricks in your name.
He is the king.
I've interviewed many voice actors, and to a person, they name you as the king of all voice acting. Right. So here are some places you definitely recognize Frank, but maybe you didn't. How about, of course, Fred from the original Scooby Doo.
And you know, I still do the voice.
Good thing cartoons are age.
It's changed over the years, I will admit.
Let's get in the mystery machine. Let's go out there and...
Let's go out and get some mush, it sounds like.
I have to drink a little bit of coffee. Hey, would you do it for a Scooby snack?
Just a curiosity of my own personal, did they ask you to wear an ascot while you voiced it to really get in character?
You know, that to me, to this day, is a mystery. The biggest mystery that we've never solved. I have no idea where that ascot came from.
But it's sure stuck around.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, he's been Scooby-Doo himself since 2002. Megatron and Soundwave, along with several others, but those are the two most notable. Megatron and Soundwave. Who watched the real Ghostbusters? Ray and Slimer. We gotta get a picture of you with the big Slimer statue we have down on the floor.
I do.
Yeah.
Here you go.
You should. This is one of my personal favorites. Iceman on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I'm dating how old I am.
I want to ask you a question because you get your facts quite good. I'm impressed. I'd like to meet me, you know. Do you know who directed that show by any chance? Because we were talking about it the other night, and we were just wondering. We can remember him very well, but we can't remember his name.
Well, I know Donald Glut wrote a lot of the stories, but I don't know who directed. I can look it up, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be back after this message.
All right, now you're going to have to help me out here. On the Super Friends, you voiced Darkseid. And Mr. Muzgixelplitz. Do you remember how to say that?
Beautiful. Say it one more time.
Mr.
Mitzpitlik?
Mitzpitlik.
Okay. I was hoping the person who voiced it, you had to say it a few times. Here's one that I didn't realize. Nibbler on Futurama. And since the death of the great Lorenzo Music, the voice of Garfield.
It's a really hard voice to do. It takes a lot of energy. And sometimes it actually falls.
Dr. Claw on Inspector Gadget. And here's one that surprised me. You were the voice of Stripe on Gremlins the movie. Now, Peter also did voices in that movie. He did some Mogwai and some Gremlins.
What's happening?
There's a little bit of Louis Armstrong in there. Without the trumpet.
That remains to be one of the most puzzling movies.
And Peter also, which he would never tell you, you probably would know, can play the heck out of the piano. And one night we're out and he goes, and I have no idea, but I've known Peter for gazillions of years. Over 100 years. And we were at this nightclub and Peter sat down sang as Louis Armstrong, and it was brilliant.
Wow.
I mean, I was like,
How do we get a piano up here? I think they have one in the lobby. They get it rolled up here. That would be awesome. Well, so that's some of your voices. Obviously, there's a lot more, but a couple of questions that I have, and you guys want to take some questions from the audience at some point?
Sure.
Excellent. Well, some of the questions that I had. First of all, Frank, they modify your voice for Soundwave. How does it sound when you are voicing him into the microphone?
Well, Soundwave, and I do get that question a lot because, I wish I could actually do the modulation vocally. But it was, as an acting piece, it was really easy because I just spoke in monotone. So you didn't have to have any kind of real emotion except, you increase the sound. And then also the voice was a big voice, which was easy on me to do if I relaxed. It sounds like I can do it here.
Soundwave. Unleash. The Autobots are in the lobby. Sorry to report, Peter Cullen has parked in your parking space.
So you just do it as a monotone like that, and then what's his name? Our engineer, I'll remember before we finish, but he used, I think they're called a vocal, and he would just take it and push the tones, so it would go, that was a very bad. Critics, always critics.
Who on their best day would be him on his worst day?
But anyhow, so basically it was just that voice with a monotone as far as acting, and then they used the technology to give it the range, the high, medium, and the lows.
I gotta be honest, if they redo the Desolation of Smaug, you need to voice Smaug, Dragon, because that was a dragon voice if I've ever heard it. We could just call him Soundwave Light. Now, I have a question for Peter. You were born in Montreal. That's not a question. I'm curious, do you get to voice Optimus Prime in French when they dub it? And how would Optimus Prime's famous lines sound if you said them in French?
Les Autobots transformés ensemble. Je ne sais quoi, je ne sais pas. Megatron, you fight me, you fight my gang. Don't press on my oil.
That's authentic.
Oh, we'll get one of those before we're done. I promise. We'll save that for the end. You need to tell everybody when they're done to roll out. Well, we'll do that at the end. I mean, I guess we can take one right now if everybody has their cameras ready. You got one in you?
Give it to me, what is it?
Autobots transform and roll out.
Oh, I remember that. Autobots transform and roll out.
Now, he's welcome in my parking space.
It's the 35th anniversary of Transformers, the animated movie. Now, I got a lot of problems with that movie. Who in here saw it once, and it took them years to watch it again? I saw it on opening day. I was 9 years old. Optimus Prime was my favorite. I had Megatron the toy. I wanted Optimus, but that's a whole other story. Come out of the theater, never watched it again. Couldn't take it. What were your guys' reactions when you read the script? It It's okay. It's been a long time. They've already re-released it on disc, so sales are good.
Well, just to preface this, yeah, I feel exactly the same. It's my thoughts. We usually, I shouldn't really say this in public, but we don't generally read the scripts at home as voice actors because there's so much direction when we go in to record. And then Peter and I have been doing those for a long time, so we don't need to really read a whole lot. We just get in and kind of read it sight and we catch the story, and then with the direction it kind of gets us. So we walk in, we have not read the script, and this, this is a pretty good script. So now we're sitting at the table, we're reading through with our coffee and donuts, and the story continues.
So you didn't read it till the table read?
Yeah. No, we're reading through it. Hey, Frank. We're get to 17, page 17. Look, that's the second paragraph. I'm getting smacked. I'm done. That's it. Yeah, I'm dying. What did I do?
I mean, it was shocking.
Hey!
Did I say something? I made a mistake.
No. There it is. Last breath.
But you can see how smart they were when they brought it back right away.
Yes, they did. And you know why? It was because of us that they brought it back. Now, Frank, you only got to be Megatron for half of the movie. Then you got killed and turned into Galvatron, who then was voiced by Leonard Nimoy. Here's a fun little fact. Did you know that Frank was the screaming voice of Spock in Star Trek 3?
It was actually a perfect transformation of Transformers. We transformed. I became Leonard, he became me, and we swapped back and forth. And actually, Leonard directed that film, and he was a real treat to work with, and very respectful of your voice and voiceovers. And he had a great appreciation for voice acting. So he'd say to me, tell me if this is hurting your voice or screaming. And it, was screaming because he was growing from a seed basically into a teenager, into an adult. We had to go through all the. I won't do it now, spare me.
These mics are a little bit hotter than that you voice into.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyhow, he was great to work with, and I told him, I said, well, you did a fine job for me too, so if you ever come in, I will make you scream. But it's strange how the business works that way, so we ended up doing each other. But I came back too, and I'm happy I did.
Peter, for those who don't know, where did the voice of Optimus Prime come from? I mean, besides being you, obviously.
The story is, my brother and I were living together in Burbank, California. And I was going through a separation in my life. It wasn't a very happy time. Larry had come back from Vietnam years earlier, and he was in the Marine Corps. And he came back a captain. He was a very celebrated Marine. The Bronze Star with the couple of Purple Hearts. He's always been my hero. He was 13 months older than I. And growing up, we always played together. We played pitching, chess, tag, football. We did everything together until, he went on to high school and I was still in grade school. And I had flunked a year. So I'm 2 years behind, I guess. And it took me 2 years to get to high school where he was. And he had just grown up. He was playing football for the high school team, and I was too small. He was 6 inches taller, so So for all you young guys out there that are 6 inches shorter than your older brother, don't worry about it. 2 cartoons. You get to do a lot of things. Anyway, it's a long story, isn't it? Get to the point, Peter. Okay, I'm sorry.
I didn't even think that.
Anyway, we were living together, and there was an audition. My agent called me and said, Transformers is a company producing toys, and they're doing an animation series through this company, and they want you to come in and audition for the leader of these. It's a truck. I said, you want me to play a truck? Man, I'm not going to play a truck. But, oh no, this is a hero truck. He's the leader, he's a hero. Oh, okay. And he does all this stuff, and he showed pictures, and I said, this is really very exciting. Kids are going to be playing with something that I would have liked to have played with when I was a kid. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to go to the audition, going out the door. We had one car, and I said, Larry, I'm going to go to an audition. I'll need the car for a little bit. He said, sure, me? Where are you going? So I'm going to audition for a truck. A truck. I said, yeah, a truck. He said, but Larry, it's a hero truck. He's a real hero. His voice just changed. He went into this. Peter, if you're going to play a hero, play a real hero. Not a Hollywood phony type, yelling and screaming. Play it sincere and honest, strong enough to be gentle, yet be firm. I said, well, yeah, okay. So I get in the car and I drive down, I look at the picture and I see the thing. My name is up. Larry's voice just came right out. Peter, my name is Larry Cullen. My name is Optimus Prime, leader of the Autobots. Ooh, and I just felt it, reading it, and it was, well, you know, it's like, it just starts coming out, and it's building on its own, and I finished the paragraph. And they said, okay, thank you very much. Oh, we have another one to read. You read this one over here, we'll bring the picture in, and blah, 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 blah. They come in with Ironhide. So I'm going to bring that look at the thing, and it transforms, and he says, he's kind of burly, and you know, like. And I had just watched a movie, and it was Chill Wills, I think, was the actor, and he talked like this. Gee Welker, you know, like that. He had a thing like that. He talked like this, you know. First thing that came to my mind is, oh, my name is Ironhide.
Anybody else get goosebumps listening to all these voices?
That's all.
Well, Frank, before I ask about Scooby-Doo, where did you come up with Megatrons for this?
Well, actually, Megatron, I've been fiddling around with a couple of voices that I've never had use for, so I remember.
He says you're going to give it to me.
Stole so many. Get your own. But, you know, and we do try to come with different sounds that maybe are harder for other guys to do, because, you know, and you want to get yours unique and original. And for me, when I looked at the picture of Megatron, you know, he looked evil, and these were big, and there was a little bit of description on the pages. And I remember I used to do this, I call it my cave of wonder, not cave of wonder, but cave of
You can call it Cave of Wonders, because that's the voice of the Cave of Wonders.
Yeah,
But in Aladdin, that was the voice of the Cave of Wonders.
it's long, but I can go into it. You got an hour and a half. so this Keith Wynn's voice was actually, if you talk through your chords on the lower portion and breathe out, it's like, I am the cave of winds. I am many voices at the same time. I hope. So I kind of fiddled with that a little bit. And then I was thinking, Megatron, maybe he would have that voice. And get the attitude a little bit lower. But I know nobody was doing the Cave of Winds voice at the time. They probably are now. So that's kind of how I really got into Megatron. Was there, and then kind of make him a little more evil. But you will hear that Cave of Winds voice. And then Soundwave. That's my Peter Cullen laughter.
I'm losing it, folks. I'm sorry.
So, Soundwave was a Barry White voice, which Peter just loved that. And Barry White was a singer during my youth, and he would do the love songs, and he would just talk this.
You're nothing as beautiful as you, baby. I don't know so.
I shouldn't do that in front of children.
So you can get close to it. It sounds like I'm going through puberty when I try to do it.
So basically, that was sort of the genesis of Soundwave.
You just talk like that. It's kind of the same voice. I'll re-record it. I love you, baby.
For the 2007 Transformers movie, when it was first announced, some G1 fans like myself were kind of like, it's gonna happen. And then I heard Peter Cullen was gonna be Optimus Prime, and I was in it. And I said, Frank Welker better be Megatron. And he wasn't. But you did get some voice credits on that. I am curious, how did Michael Bay and the makers of that movie approach you to be in the film, but not be Megatron? I mean, no disrespect to Hugo Weaving. Sorry, I drew a complete blank. No disrespect to Hugo Weaving, but you're Megatron.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And fans were really great. Very vocal, and so there was a lot of discussion about it. And Michael Bay did try and get hold of me, and we were going to have a meeting because Peter Tree kind of wanted to see where our world was and how it fits and related into the on-camera world. And I remember on the way to Palm Springs on a golf outing, and my agent, it sounds light, but a lot of my friends were committed to this tournament. It's got money and they're coming, flying out, so on. So I was committed to this tournament, so I was involved in it. And when I got the call to meet with Michael Bay, it had to be like, no, it's got to be tomorrow, or, because he's leaving, he's going to Mexico to shoot. And I couldn't do it. So we never got a chance to sit down and meet and for him to say, well, can you maybe try this, or where did you come from with Megatron? So to his credit, it wasn't like he was totally ignored me, we just physically didn't get together. And then when I came back to town, he was back to town, we tried again. This time I was there, he was gone. He had to leave like that day to go back to Mexico to shoot the stuff for the feature. So we never really got together, and the rest is kind of history. But he did bring me back in to do Mix Master and a few of the others, and eventually Galvatron. Yeah. And then Galvatron turned into Megatron. So once
It came full circle.
Yeah, it came full circle. And then also, I'm sure a lot of folks here know, because we talked about it in the mines, is Transformers Prime. Peter and I both, I'm speaking for Peter too, but I know he feels the same way. We really, really love that show because we got to work together again, face to face. And then once again, I transformed into a different Megatron. And that was really fun to do because I I love G1, it's like my baby. I'll never forget it, of course. And you know, I know you guys are really good about it too. But then when it came to Prime, with the CG animation, it was like totally different. You know, we had much more subtle picture to work with, so we didn't have to scream or yell and I could do more evil stuff, and we were right next to each other, looking at each other, and it was just really, I know that sounds weird, I apologize. We were wearing bibs at the time, and glasses, and everything, we were perfectly clean. But,
You have no idea. We used to have to sit next to each other, or stand next to each other, and when I would do my stuff, he'd be doing a leaking tap drip. Just down here, nobody can hear it except me, and I didn't call for it.
and you know, the director doesn't hear anything but Peter. Peter, we're trying to record here. This is a serious comedy.
A serious comedy.
It's Frank. Now he's doing an elevator.
How do you do an elevator?
He's doing all those stuff.
But in reality, when we did our scenes and our acting together, you know, I should tell.
Oh no, don't tell him about the electric.
If he says I shouldn't tell, then he absolutely should tell.
Yeah, there were times in the G1 series where our director separated us because we were so naughty. Peter would be like 3 actors down, and I couldn't drive him nuts anymore, and I was there. That's true, right? We're always, all right, you two separating. But in Prime, we were right together again, and it was really a blast.
It was the electric shock that did it. He's got a microphone wire, and he's got it down like this.
Anyhow, so that was a lot of fun.
So what you're saying is we need to get some animated versions of these outtakes so we can watch Optimus and Megatron teasing each other. You guys don't have to talk to Hasbro about
That would be fun.
that. Each of you guys have voiced a lot of different animals over the years. How do you decide how to voice an animal? How do you decide how to voice an animal? I mean, you were King Kong, but he didn't have any lines, but he had voice. Yeah, sorry. An animal, and you know, Frank, you've played a lot of animated animals in a lot of different series. Some have lines, some just make noises. But how do you come up with that? Is that on you, or is that on the director?
Well, I think originally, like for animals, is you start with trying to do them as authentic as possible. For example, if you were to go into the forest and there's a pond, you might hear something like this.
You don't have to finish that.
But yeah, so you try to do the animals, and I did a lot of features, and I know Peter did too, where, you know, we're asked to do dogs, real dogs, and you know, you just think about what they really sound like to try and make them authentic, and you use the video.
But you were also the voice of Brain on the Inspector Gadget, Dollar on Richie Rich.
Yeah.
How do you make those guys authentic? I don't know very many dogs and cats like that.
Well, I will say, and people ask me this all the time about getting into voice acting and how to stay busy. One of the great ways that worked for me is doing animals, doing dogs, because almost every family or all the shows had a parrot or a dog or something. So when that came along,
You guys
I just ask Peter to do a little bit of the Predator?
Oh, yes. What's the inspiration for that?
An upside down horseshoe crab in the sun on a hot day at the beach.
That's it. Looked like that, didn't he? That's it.
Actually, it was upside down. It was upside down, and there were bubbles coming out of its, around its legs or whatever.
Oh, you weren't kidding.
They were going like this. These little cannons, or whatever, it's upside down. And watch the bubbles, and the bubbles were snapping, they were cracking. Not as fast as that, but the idea was there.
So you can hear that and think, let me file that sound away.
I did. When I was doing Predator at 20th Century, they asked me to come up with a monster. I had done King Kong and a blood throat from it, spitting up blood. And I said, I'm never doing another monster. And I got down there and I said, well, what does it look like? She said, we can't show you. I said, what am I doing here? We devise a character by what it looks like. You know, if it's got a skinny throat, it'll be narrow sounded. If it's big, it's going to be all over. We put all those things into it. At least I do. Well, he's the genius. He can do anything. But for me, I have to narrow it down. Where was it? That was it.
You're saying how handsome that is.
Yeah. So this Predator was so good looking, man. But no, that's not right.
No.
So I said, well, how am I going to create a voice if I don't know what it looks like now? So the director was getting really annoyed with me. I would use another couple of words, but we're in the conversation. So
Those words are illegal here in Utah.
So he went up into the sound booth where all the guys were, and they were recording all this stuff, and I was supposed to come up with stuff. He said, well, show me something. Just show me anything. And they showed this streak go by, and total, almost jungle silence, and it was eerie. And it went, and then it hung and the director couldn't hear me, and he's getting mad. He's going, okay, that's enough. And the voice comes up in the control room. He said, no, hey, you gotta come up here and listen to this. No. Whatever his name is. Come on up here. Just come on up here. So he went up, and about 5 minutes later, he comes bouncing down the stairs. I found my Predator. Prior to that, I had convinced them to show me, a picture, because it was top secret of what the Predator really would face. And with all those things coming out, that's
when you do the sound crowd.
I forgot to put that in, folks. If you're going to tell a story, you got to come up with the right facts.
Hey, we live in a day where facts are completely whatever you want them to be, I guess.
That's the story.
That's really, that's... Now, Frank, this is something I found out in my research today that I never put together. One of my favorite Disney movies from the 60s is Now You See Him, Now You Don't. You remember that one? And the computer that wore tennis shoes? Who remembers Frank from that movie?
Was it on camera picture? No, it's just my voice.
You know, the great thing about this pen is you can shut your eyes the entire time and completely visualize every single thing that you guys are saying. That's one of the greatest things to me about voice actor pens.
Well, the computer wore tennis shoes, and honestly, now you know those who played college kids, and it was with Kurt Russell, yeah.
Yes.
Whatever.
Young Kurt Russell. Anybody know what happened to him?
Fantastic. He was such a great guy to hang with, and baseball player, and he was just, yeah, he's a good guy.
But I just didn't know people knew you used to do the on-camera stuff too.
No, I used to do stand-up comedy and on-camera stuff, did a picture with Don Knotts. Elvis Presley. I worked with Elvis. Yeah, thank you, young lady.
What voice would you say, Frank, is the one that's closest of the characters of the nearly 900 voices you've done? Which one do you say is the closest to just your natural speaking voice?
Freddie.
All right, well, I want everybody in here who wants a chance to ask you guys some questions to have a chance. So we've got about 10, 12 minutes left on the load. We got about 10, 12 minutes left on the panel. We got 3 minutes for questions? Okay, or we got 3 questions? We got 3 minutes for questions. I think we're going to have more than 3 minutes of questions, but all right, well then let's get to it. Then go, guys, go ahead.
Okay, so mine's been briefly touched upon, but we still haven't. Frank, you voiced my favorite Disney sidekick ever, Abu in Aladdin. Can you please? Okay, it just made my day.
Thank you.
Okay, so what is it, when you've talked about it a little bit, but when you're voicing animals, do they have direction in the script or saying like, Abu's sad, Abu's doing it, or does it say make monkey noises, or how do they do the voice sessions for them?
It's a good question. I'll try and answer that as fast as I can for you. Without knowing my full answer, which I would really like to. I love to talk. Okay, so when we did Abu, the first thing it comes in pencil drawings, and they actually have those in film, but they're pencil drawings. And the director will tell you, okay, you'll see Abu actually jumps over the fence. You see him jump, but you don't know what he's doing. So the director will tell you, and you can visually see something. Then it comes back, and with each generation of production, you get more film, and then you add more, and you can add more stuff in. So the director then starts leaving you alone, because maybe Abu will smile, and he hasn't written anything for that, and the artist just smiles. So then you add and add and add, and that's kind of the way it goes to the end. This CDM, Aladdin took, I think, 3 years. So we go in and do sessions over a period of 3 years.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry. First off, big fan of you both. So
Thank you.
there's that. Also, this is for both of you, favorite line you've done as Optimus and favorite line as Megatron? For all of them, like every version you've done.
Hold on to your dreams. The future is built on dreams. I love pepperoni pizza. Peace through tyranny.
Oh, my friends, I'm sorry we can't do more questions than that. I'm getting the end sign. I'm so sorry. Okay, one real fast one. Go ahead.
This is a question for Peter. I want to know, like, how exactly did you find out when they were making Bumblebee, when they were going back to the Gen 1 designs? What was, like, how did you find out, and what was your reaction?
I thought that was very encouraging. It gave me a lot of hope that we're getting back to the roots and to the basics that make it what it always was, you know, a good cartoon series.
maybe a little scene of Peter and I actually acting as Megatron and
I have a question about Point. What's your favorite character about Shaggy, about Roger, your friend, Daffy, or Benmo?
that was for Scooby?
Yeah, no, you wait. That's answering the question. So, what do you do, your friend, Machine, talk about Cullen Machine, talking to people, what do you do talking and acting characters on TV show?
I think it's really fun to do Scooby-Doo. I love doing that Scooby-Doo. So I'm going to say to you, Scooby Dooby Doo.
I need to talk about, wait, one more thing. What's your favorite food, what's your favorite color, and what do you do talking to your parents? What do you do?
Favorite food, favorite color?
Your parents, your family, you like, so it's asking. Well, wait. Talk about Spike Jones.
Oh, it's Fred Jones?
Yeah.
Well, I think my favorite color would be green, even though I wear an orange ascot. And I like blonde hair and a white shirt with a little blue trim. Thank you.
All right, let's hear this scene.
So, here we are, leaders of the Autobots and the Decepticons. We alone control the future of this planet Earth and the universe beyond. We can share the power of destiny, of all that lies before us.
Megatron, it is not power I seek. I wish only to protect this planet, and I want no harm to come to these humans.
You fool! Why throw away your life so recklessly? With Energon from the Earth, our troops, together we could rebuild Cybertron and control the galaxy. The entire universe awaits us.
I will not endanger the Earth or its humans. Cybertron has shown us what devastation comes from greed and power.
Then you will be forever my enemy, Optimus Prime. No one will stand in my way.
One shall stand, and one shall fall.
So be it. Power through tyranny.
I will never give up hope that one day we will all stand as one. Until then, Autobots, roll out!